maybe call it something else. Call them like the admin bods, so they don't get.
And how would they be chosen?
Jeremy, don't ask me to sit here in an interview with you in a bloody hotel room and devise a global utopian system. I'm merely pointing out that
You're calling for revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm calling for change. I'm calling for genuine alternatives.
There are many people who would agree with you.
Good.
The current system is not engaging with all sorts of problems. Yes. And they feel apathetic. Really apathetic.
Yeah.
But if they were to take you seriously, and not to vote.
Yeah, they shouldn't vote. But they should. That's one thing they should do. Don't bother voting. Because then when it reaches, there's a point. So these little valves, these sort of like little cozy little valves of recycling and Prius and like, turn up somewhere, it stops us reaching the point where we think, oh, this is enough now. Stop voting. Stop pretending. Wake up. Be in reality now. Time to be in reality now. Why vote? We know it's not going to make any difference. We know that already. So, I have more impact at West Ham United, cheering them on. And they lost the city unnecessarily. Bad.
Well, now you're being facetious.
Well, facetiousness has as much value as seriousness. I think you're making the mistake of mistaking seriousness.
They're not going to solve world problems by facetiousness.
We're not going to solve them with the current system. At least facetiousness is funny.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, Jeremy.
Colbert Report.
So let's approach this optimistically. You've spent your whole career berating and haranguing politicians, and then when, like me, a comedian goes, yeah, they're all worthless, what's the point in engaging with any of them? You sort of have a go at me because I'm not poor anymore.
Well, no, I'm not having a go at you about that. I'm just asking you why we should take you seriously when you're so unspecific.
You don't have to take... Well, firstly, I don't mind if you take me seriously. I'm here just to draw attention to a few ideas. I just want to have a little bit of a laugh. I'm saying there are people with alternative ideas that are far better qualified than I am and far better qualified, more importantly, than the people that are currently doing that job, because they're not attempting to solve these problems. They're not. They're attempting to placate the population. The measures that are currently being taken around climate change are indifferent, will not solve the problem.
You don't think it's possible as human beings they're simply overwhelmed by the scale of the problem?
Not really. Well, possibly. It might be that. I mean, but that's sort of just semantics, really. Whether they're overwhelmed by it or tacitly maintaining it because of habitual life. I mean, like, mate, this is what I noticed when I was in that House of Parliament. It's decorated exactly the same as Eden. It's decorated exactly
All right, guys. So I'm going to cut that one a little short and move into... There was some criticism over this article from not only Fox, which is going to be the next clip that I play, but also from this article on Junkie, which is this online news thing, I guess. I really don't know. I thought it was just hilarious, though, in how it reads. And if you just listen to that, I'd like for you to go check it out. I'm going to pull it up right now so I can actually get you guys an idea of what it is. Fox News. Let's see. No, not quite. So basically this guy, I mean, Fox News is going to go in and just try to tear him apart. But again, if you really listen, and if you couldn't understand him, you should try listening to it a couple times. He really discusses how, the system that's to be, or that is, needs to be changed. It needs to become something else. Because at this point, it's only causing problems. I mean, this is a huge thing we talk about on Freedomizer Radio, on all the shows, is how we have to, as the people, develop new systems and develop new things to change the world and become better. So anyways, there's an article on Junkie about this. You can look it up, folks, but I just thought it was ridiculous, and I think that I want to defend that because that interview was great. And I read this article on Junkie about him, and he just completely, Russell Brand says no to profit. Well, Russell Brand makes profit. And that is the stupidest explanation I've ever heard to countering somebody's statement of, just because he makes money doesn't mean he cannot like the aspect of how money is made in the system he lives in. I mean, that's no actual explanation to why what he's saying is wrong. Because everything he said, I don't think is wrong. I think it was a great, aspect of changing the government, changing the system, and becoming better. I mean, if you couldn't hear that in what he was saying, then I'm sorry. But that was clearly what he was trying to say in all of that. But moving forward, we're going to hear some of what Fox had to say about this whole interview that happened, and the interview happened with I think it's Brian Paxman in Britain, one of the main shows there. Let's see, I'm pulling up the rest of that clip here. Get that audio going for you folks. Sorry about the audio going back and forth. Hope that doesn't deter you from listening. This is pretty fun stuff, especially if you're a fan of Russell Brand or Jon Stewart. Right now we're on Russell Brand. This is Thrice with Thrice's Daily Download here on FreedomizerRadio.com, sharing some clips from Russell Brand talking about different things of how we should change the world, what we can do to save the world. And, that was some yelling by Fox, bashing on Russell Brand and his interview with one of the news stations in Britain. Here we go. Hold on. Almost there. All right, folks. Here we go. This is Fox bashing on Russell Brand. And you can hear just some of the radical, just like with Jon Stewart, they're just going to attack, and it's just going to be this radical, vicious circle of just pecking on somebody in an issue. And the fact, again, this is a comedian. Russell Brand is a comedian. He has done acting, but he's a comedian, just like Jon Stewart. And these people are taking them, like, really using them as, like, a punching bag, as if, he needs to stop saying what he's saying because he has no right to say it. We have the right to say it because we're some people on some mainstream media, but he doesn't, even though he's just a comedian, and why are we even talking about that? That's really not news, folks. I mean, it's just not news. To talk about Jon Stewart is reporting on news that is already happening, and then to report on him, that's not really news. I mean, unless he won an Emmy or he did something, I'm saying, not really news, folks. Here, trying to get this playing for you folks. Don't know what the issue with the audio is tonight, guys. Just seems like it's being a little bit of trouble. I'm going to go ahead and download it. Should only take a second. The lovely thing about technology nowadays is everything is becoming faster. So, and this is going to be something you want to listen to, guys. Again, Fox bashing on Russell Brand for his interview with a Britain news station, and now he's talking about changing the world and everything. And of course, they're just going to completely treat it like he's being some radical extremist.
People for the first time in a generation are aware.
This is the end of his interview, by the way.
Economic exploitation.
Into the Fox.
Nonsense, and these subjects are not being addressed. Oh, you're talking. Go ahead.
No, I was saying he's a student who took his first class. One more point, because I'm babbling. He was at the GQ Man of the Year award.
You stalk him because you see what he's wearing.
I did this story last night. He linked Hugo Boss to its Nazi ties as a way to get press attention, but his beliefs are no different than any kind of Nazi socialism or totalitarian coercion. He doesn't care about the consequences of putting your thumb down on the man. He believes in enforcing socialism from above.
But he doesn't put his thumb down in the voting booth because Russell doesn't vote. What about that?
Yeah, he doesn't sound like a student to me. He sounds like a college academic. He sounds like every teacher I ever had who was talking about the 1%. They live in the ivory tower. They're removed from reality. What I think is interesting also is he's talking to young people. That's his audience. Young people want to grow up and keep some of their hard-earned cash. They don't want to go to graduate school, go to college, pursue a job, and then hand all of their money over to someone else.
Keep it all.
So I think that a lot of young people are going to look at this and say, what are you talking about? This makes no sense. I want to make money.
Wait a minute.
I want a nice house.
Yeah,
I
but
want a
young
car.
people want upward mobility.
Material.
Young people want the opportunity to succeed. And when you have an increasing class divide in society, and we know it here in America, you have to start asking, well, Russell's kind of daft, but it's not that he's out of touch with the reality.
Okay, but not by taking one and giving to another.
How do you move up the income ladder, as you so speak? Mm-hmm. What Russell Brand suggests it's government.
No.
More and more handouts.
I don't think I heard that. Well, maybe it's
profit is filthy.
It's redistribution.
Excess. When you get into greed, that's a problem. No. He was talking about the energy, the oil companies that make trillions and pay no taxes.
What about
And
the oil
employ
ministry?
people. Those oil companies employ people. I hate this vilification of big companies. People work for those companies.
Yeah.
That's like vilifying the wealthy. Guess what? Rich people hire
I like corporations. I love corporations. I will tell you about greed.
Okay, but you can't
benefit, there is deficit.
So just again, it's just a constant bagging. Oh well, he's rich, and just like that one guy on Jabber or whatever this thing is. It's not Jabber. I said it earlier, folks. But it really blows me away of how these people aren't listening to what he's saying. And I think it's because he's intimidating. This man, Russell Brand, I mean, he is intimidating the way he talks. I mean, he's straight up with what he's saying. I mean, he acts like he has everything to stand on. He even said it, I'm taking this right to speak out because other people don't have the ability. He really is taking the chance to become this martyr for the newer generations to show them, hey, this is all you have to do is speak up, speak out. I mean, I don't vote. I don't believe in voting. I think it's ridiculous. Why give in to a puppet society? Why give in to what they're trying to indoctrinate you in? We are Americans. We are free. And this man's from Britain, and he's a firm believer in the freedoms of America. And a lot of things he talks about is America, because the fact that America is the leader. We are the ones who have to change first. And when we change, everybody's going to follow. So I'm going to get a little more audio here, and then we're going to go ahead and close up for the night, folks. I really hope you enjoyed this tonight, just trying to show you there are people out there who are fighting for us. Here, hold on. This is going to be a back and forth between Russell Brand and Fox News.
Oh, God! All of their systems.
Sorry about this again, folks. The audio is a little weird. But I think this is worth sharing with you. Here we go, folks. This is going to be Fox News talking about Russell Brand. You hear what Russell Brand says about this Judge Janine. But they're going to go into this nice little back and forth. And then there's going to be another clip of Russell Brand's audio on Judge Janine. And then I'll cut it out, folks, and we'll call it a night. But it should be cutting in here just a second. Or a minute.
Brand, who took to YouTube in a nearly 10-minute-long rant to attack our very own Judge Denise Pirro, simply for telling it like it is regarding the crisis in Iraq. Take a look.
This is a fanatical religious terrorist organization.
So Fox News is a fanatical terrorist propagandist organisation. This isn't reasonable, is it? Like the way she's talking. Bomb them. Like she's worse. Like when you see them videos of someone like with a thing on with a rifle, like going, hey, we'll bomb them. She's doing it. She's just doing it with a city backdrop. She's a savage. She's espousing savage values. Just incendiary language. Just volatile, combative, angry language. I don't think that's helpful. I don't think that should be. I'm not being just sensational. I think that is more dangerous than ISIS. That attitude. Because that's far-reaching. It's affecting millions and millions of people.
And here with reaction, our great American panel, Amos in the morning producer, Abby Jesus.
Abby Jesus, Sean Hannity. Assalamu alaikum.
Fox News senior correspondent, our friend Geraldo, and former speechwriter for Condi Rice, Elise Jordan. By the way, she's the wife of the late author Michael Hastings. By the way, way ahead of the curve on the Bergdahl situation, and whose novel, The Last Magazine,
bunch of filler plugs.
We're sorry.
Plugs.
You're the sweetest. Thanks for
Sorry,
being so
guys.
kind to me.
Should have edited this.
What's your reaction to that? I love Janine.
Yeah, Janine Pirro, I love the judge myself. There's a reason why his ex-wife, Katy Perry, dumped this skank, and it might be that he sits in his bathroom and
cheap shot
on the cable news babes. I don't know. I don't want her to take a shower after watching this thing. But look, I did my due diligence. I looked up on Wikipedia. He got fired from MTV for showing up to work the day after 9/11 dressed as Osama bin Laden.
Because it was a false flag.
On my Israeli brothers and
false
sisters.
flag.
So we know